This Saturday, UFC 308, October 26th, we finally get to see Khamzat Chimaev again. It's been a rough couple of years when it's come to the activity of Khamzat Chimaev. We all know that he's one of the best talents today. And in my opinion, this is the fight that's going to really prove who Khamzat Chimaev is. We know how good he is. We know how talented he is. We know his potential. But Robert Whittaker is the highest level at the 185-pound division. And this is going to be his true test. Robert Whittaker, we know he has stellar takedown defense, elite striking, amazing footwork, but he has flaws as well. So in my opinion, this fight is pretty easy to predict. Like I'm pretty sure everyone else knows, it's going to either be Robert Whittaker late round stoppage or Khamzat Chimaev early round stoppage. The first aspect I actually want to touch on is the striking. Of course, there's a big difference when it comes to the technical ability of Khamzat Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. And clearly Robert is the better striker, no doubt. But there's things that Khamzat Chimaev does that could cause Robert problems on the feet as well. If you see in the Burns fight, you see in the Usman fight, most of the fights that we've seen Khamzat strike for a long period of times, he has the ability to switch stances, and he actually has a great jab in southpaw. And we've seen that Jared Cannonier was the first guy to expose that flaw in Robert Whittaker's defense when he blitzes. Southpaw jab gives him problems. DDP showed that as well. I believe if Khamzat starts feinting, level changing, he can start working his jab. And also Khamzat Chimaev has a nasty straight right. He has the power to hurt Robert Whittaker. But if he's not able to make Robert Whittaker bite on his feints and make him a little hesitant, I'm pretty sure Rob would see a lot of the shots coming. Khamzat usually backs up in straight lines with the high guard, but his high guard is very open down the middle. So I could see Robert Whittaker, slamming his notorious roundhouses on Khamzat's high guard, bringing his hands down, starting to work kicks to the body as well, just investing to Khamzat, making him slow down. I don't think the stand-up is really that complex, but I do think that early on, Khamzat is not out of his realm when it comes to the stand-up. His power is going to be his saving grace and also his jab. So when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling, a lot of people are pointing to Yoel Romero. That's their big key point when it comes to Khamzat and Robert Whittaker. If you look at the fights, all the takedowns that Romero landed were blast double legs, and Robert Whittaker was able to work his way back to his feet. He's very great in the turtle position off his back. So there was a lot of instances where Yoel Romero had Robert Whittaker's back on the get up. That's going to be criminal against Khamzat Chimaev. You don't do that. You cannot give Khamzat your back. Khamzat has shown time and time again he's great at back taking and gaining that position. And if he gets that position, I'm pretty confident that Robert Whittaker is going to be pretty much stuck there, especially when he locks in the body triangle. I also think that Khamzat is stronger than Robert Whittaker. Usman and Whittaker are both 70-pounders that went up to 85. Granted, Usman hasn't had time to grow into 185, and he's probably at 170 again, so that's a whole nother story. But I think that Usman and Robert Whittaker are similar body types. And honestly, I would argue that Usman's a little bigger than him when it comes to muscle mass. Whittaker obviously has the bigger legs.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And I think that Usman is stronger than Robert Whittaker. And we see what Chimaev was able to do with him. Yes, it was short notice, but this is wrestling and grappling sequences, and that's Usman's world. Khamzat in the first round was literally ragdolling Usman. He was able to actually back flatten him out. It was looking like he was in a grounded pound TKO him. But Usman, the tough former champion he is, was able to get out of these positions. I think that Khamzat could put Robert Whittaker in those same positions, but the difference is I don't think Whittaker would be able to outlast the round. We also seen Dricus du Plessis get Robert Whittaker in the headlock position, and then he tripped him out. Although Dricus does have good wrestling and grappling, I do think that's a little alarming. We've seen DDP put himself in bad positions. He tried to trip out Tavares, and then he falls on himself. The same thing happened with Derek Brunson. Just goofy sequences, and people are able to gain top control on DDP. DDP is a very strong fighter. I'm pretty certain that he's a little stronger than Khamzat, but even with the strength factor with them two, I don't think it's a big difference. Khamzat is a very strong fighter. We know this. If Robert Whittaker is able to put Khamzat on the back foot, he's going to be able to defend Khamzat's takedowns. I'm very sure of that, right? But I think that Khamzat's going to put Robert Whittaker on the back foot, and that's where it gets dangerous. That's where he's able to work his single leg, his double legs, his body lock trips. If he does get Robert Whittaker against the cage, I think that's where Robert Whittaker's takedown defense shines the most. But honestly, I think Khamzat's going to work more in the open to secure those takedowns. And I'm very sure that if he's able to get Robert Whittaker down one time, it's going to get very bad very soon. Khamzat, in my opinion, is one of the best offensive grapplers in MMA today. He's submitting these guys. He's controlling these guys. He's damaging these guys with ground and pound. And yes, I know that Robert Whittaker has good takedown defense, but he's never went up against his style, the Dagestani Chechen style, the infamous chain wrestling. I honestly believe that Khamzat Chimaev could finish Robert Whittaker in the first round after flattening out Robert Whittaker similar to the Usman position. And I think he would actually secure that ground and pound TKO this time around. I love this fight because this is one of those style clashes. And it would be cool to see Robert Whittaker win, but I'm a big Khamzat fan. Besides Ilia Topuria, Khamzat's probably my favorite fighter. And realistically, he should have already been champion by now. All this political bullshit in his outside life, his health problems, whatever. I think this is going to be the moment in Khamzat's career where he finally solidifies himself and leaves no doubters. I'm a big believer in Khamzat. I think he's honestly going to steamroll Robert Whittaker, and I say that with all due respect. Everyone loves Robert Whittaker, I do as well, but I think Khamzat is just too much. And I think after this fight, he's going to beat the DDP and Strickland winner. I'm leaning more DDP in that fight, so that's going to be amazing if we get DDP versus Khamzat. This is indeed a 50-50 fight, but I'm very confident in Khamzat Chimaev.
Smash somebody, it's too easy. Smash somebody, you get money, brother. It's perfect for me.